Every Christmas, we take a road trip up to Kansas. We like to see the sights, the wildlife, old cars. And this year we decided to go through Picher, Oklahoma first, which is right by the Kansas border. We've been told it's a ghost town now. Picher is a town that started in 1918 and was abandoned in 2009. Mining started there in 1913, and a town that sprang up by the name after a German immigrant, O.S. Picher. Picher was the most productive mining field in the tri-state area, which included Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. It produced $20 billion in lead and zinc ore from 1917 to 1947. A majority of it went for the war efforts. I just want to read a little print out here, kind of about the history and some things that's happened in the town. In 1913, as the tri-state district expanded, lead and zinc ore was discovered on Harry Crawfish's claim and mining began. The town site developed overnight, and new workings. Around the new workings, it was named Picher in honor of O.S. Picher, owner of Picher Lead Company. The city was incorporated in 1918, and by 1920, Picher had a population of 9,726. And peak population occurred in 1926 with 14,252 residents, and was followed by a gradual decline due to the decreased mining activity, leaving Picher with only 2,500 people by 1960. It dropped off dramatically. By 1930, there was only 7,700. So I don't know why it cut in half so quick, and then it was a gradual downfall from there. And I had read that about the $20 billion worth of ore it had done. More than 50% of the lead and zinc metal used during World War I was produced by this Picher district. At its peak, more than 14,000 miners worked in the mines, and 4,000 worked in the mining services. The mining, well, they had a trolley system to get people to and from work, and it went as far as Joplin and Carthage, Missouri, to get these people in and out. And it ceased operation in 1967. And when they had left, they had 14,000 abandoned mine shafts, which is unbelievable. They also had 70 million tons of mine tallings, I guess is how you pronounce it, and 36 million tons of mill sand or sludge. Basically, it's just chat. And by 1980, they had come in and the EPA and that, and it was a toxic dump in that town. And it says here, more than a century of unrestricted subsurface evacuation dangerously undermined most of Picher's town buildings and left giant piles of toxic metal, contaminated, known as chat, heaped throughout the area. If you drive through there now, you still see the mounds, but a guy who comes into the store to collect merchandise for testing said that he lived 25, 30 miles south of there, and those mounds were 3 times as high as they are today. And they'd ride their bikes and stuff on it. Something I'd probably done too. And it said by 96, a study found that 34% of the children in Picher suffered from lead poisoning due to these effects. And in 2006, the Army Corps of Engineers study showed 86% of Picher's buildings, including the school, which looks brand new still today, were undermined and subject to collapse at any time. And these people I mean, they still had their school there. I mean, there's still 1,300 people there by 2008. They were leaving, and the government would pay them the money to go, but they wouldn't go. But finally, in May of 2008, all of them but 10 decided to leave. And it wasn't because the government forced them. It's because of an E4 tornado. It just devastated the rest of the town. I said that on May 10th, 2008, Picher was struck by an E4 tornado. There were 8 confirmed deaths. And this part, possibly including one child, I don't know how they don't know that. But that's what they said. The tornado first touched down near Kansas, and then it came over and got Picher. And it caused extensive damage to 20 blocks of the city. 150 people were injured, and Picher's real close to like Quapaw, Miami, so you kind of know the area. It's not that far from here, about an hour and a half's drive. And by 2009, they decided to close the school, just close the town down completely. I mean, they only had 49 students, and they graduated 11 in 2009. The last graduation class. So here was Picher, a town that knew those mountains. I don't know if they knew the mountains were poisonous because they'd have picnics on them. But nothing grew on those mountains. They still don't have anything growing on them. It's just a chat. Weeds don't grow on it. If we don't grow on it, that's got to be toxic. And but they knew they weren't supposed to drink the water, but some still did. And I mean, it's just crazy. And is it like the marginal Christians who read the Bible and believe in God, may be faithful in going to church each week? But come Halloween, you will see their parking lots full with cars because of trunk or treat. And they somehow make this devilish holiday okay because it's done on a church parking lot. And how about Easter? Or the favorite Christmas? Christmas, they try to give it a Christian name, but with Easter, they just keep the pagan name. Don't even remove it. They go around loudly proclaiming their good works, which are often laudable, but many neglect their weekly services provided on a weekly basis. People at Picher knew for years they were on a toxic waste dump. But this was home and it felt normal. All the friends and family played on the chat mounds, and some made sure the children did not drink the water. But some thought it was just hard water, and a lot of their children drank it anyway. And in here it also, I think it said in here 34%. I don't know what year that was, if that was in 96, but 34% of the kids had lead poisoning in that town, something like that. It's just crazy. And then we have people even today. I mean, do we have to worry about that in our own church? It's not like we make excuses for not going, but we've had people join us and leave us because they had preconceived notions. I mean, we had one family leave because they thought Jesus was a created being and disqualified to be the Son. And we had the others come, and they left because, we didn't have no secret code name for God. Could we also have ideas we have brought with us that may not truly reflect the pure teachings of the Bible? Some marginal Christians make excuses all the time for not attending their services. Could we fall into that trap? I'm not talking about illness or being out of town, but like people I know who work every weekend instead of going to church. What if your job requires you to work on one weekend out of the month? Would you reason that God would understand that you miss services one week? After all, you have to support your family. The Bible says a man who does not take care of his family's needs is worse than an unbeliever. Let's turn to Hebrews 2 and verse 1. If I can find it here. Hebrews 2 and verse 1. Therefore, we must give the most earnest need of the things we have heard, lest we drift away. So we need to make sure we're reading and studying the Bible and not falling for all these little things that people say that have nothing to do with the truth. And we're living in times that aren't as bad. We're in a country that we're not really persecuted or anything, but we will come on hard times. Will we lose our focus then when it gets harder? Will we make excuses then? We get caught up with the times around us that we no longer see clearly? If you'll turn to 2 Timothy 3 and start in verse 2. And this is talking about the last days. For men will become lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Verse 5, having a form of godliness, but denying its power, and from such people turn away. For of this are these who creep into households, and make captives of gullible women loaded down with sins, that led away by various lusts. In verse 7, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. So we don't want to get, caught up in the way the world works and doing everything that the world does, making excuses for not keeping our holy days or keeping the Sabbath. If you'll turn to John 14. And we'll read verse 15. And this just says what we're supposed to do, and do it all the time. If you love me, keep my commandments. It's pretty simple, straightforward. That's what we need to do. It says commandment keeping is not an option. The holy days and the Sabbath, keeping a commanded gathering, we can come up with a laundry list of reasons not to attend. But only a few are really valid, such as illness or lack of transportation or something. We need to drink from the pure water of the Holy Bible and not be tainted by what others are drinking around us.